Personal capital, free tool. Add other non-financial institution assets and liabilities to our net worth to our personal balance sheet on the personal capital free tool. Remove the cap on your capital by using personal capital free tool. Here we are in our personal capital practice problem. In prior presentations, we practiced linking to financial institutions and pulling in data that we can then use in our practice problem. We then thought about the major financial statements, that being an income statement, not typically where the personal capital shines as much, at least for business type of income statements, but an area that does have financial transactions where we can construct an income statement. And we have then the balance sheet, which is the area where personal capital then shines. We then took a look at another area that personal capital is good at, that being the investment information and using investment tools for planning, such as retirement and so on. Now we want to think about the balance sheet a little bit more, noting that we have, in essence, on the balance sheet on the left-hand side, or you can find the balance sheet by going to the overview, then going to the net worth, which is in essence your balance sheet, your assets minus your liability, listing those items out. So once again, it's good at picking that information up by the ending balance of financial institutions. That would be things like a checking account, savings accounts, CD type of accounts. Then on the liability side of things, credit card type of accounts, loan type of accounts, mortgage type of accounts. Really good at picking those things up and comparing and contrasting this from something like a QuickBooks is better at picking up that ending balance. If I compare the balance sheet over here to QuickBooks, for example, you don't pick up the ending balance in those types of accounts like a checking account or even a financial account typically and pull that in directly from a financial institution with something like QuickBooks, but rather have to enter the transactions to create that ending balance in some way, shape, or form. So if I go back to personal capital, if we want to just jump to that ending number relying on the institution for it, then that's a nice resource to have. So now we're thinking about those types of things that aren't included on, say, the financial institution information. And those would include things like the big one being the home, which we talked about last time, which does have a tool for an appraisal tool that you can try to use. We tried to use it last time, and then we just basically manually input it in the home. But note, of course, that's not on the financial institution. You would need some type of appraisal. You have a similar situation with anything else that's not a financial type of thing that you wanted to include in here. One, you got to basically manually include it in here. Two, you got to come up with some kind of value of it in some way, shape, or form, either the cost that you originally purchased it for or some value that you think you can appraise it for at this point in time. And then you'd have to track any differences that happen at a later point to that value. On the liability side of things, you have a similar type of situation. If the liability is not a loan from a financial institution, then you're going to have to think about, well, what's the value of that liability and so on and so forth in a similar fashion. So if I hit the little plus button here, then we have the home, which we can add with the Zillow as we looked at last time. And now I'm going to take a look at the more information. This is the general more stuff that people might have, one being a home. We added the home last time. We basically manually inputted it, or you can use that appraisal process. A car, of course, you can put on the books if you want to put your value of the car. The car is another thing that you're not going to have from any financial institution to value it. Although if you have a loan related to the car, then that might be able to be pulled in with some kind of institutional type of thing. The loan might be there, but the value of the car won't be there unless you manually put that in there. Jewelry, another area it's that you could, add that just so you could see where it lands on your net worth. Although, again, hard to value something like jewelry. Same with art. It's hard to get a good appraisal value of what that is worth. But if you want to reflect that on your net worth statement and possibly use that for some purpose, possibly, to get a loan or something in the future, and you want to add that to your net worth, then you might include that here. Custom stock options, manual investment holdings. So if you have investment holdings that you want to put in there manually that you can't link them for whatever reason, then you can add them here as well. Cryptocurrencies, so you can add the cryptocurrencies. The manual bank information, so once again, if it's not a financial institution that's included, or you just simply want to manually input it, you can put the manual banking information. Manual credit card, so if the credit card institution, which is something that can be linked, but for whatever reason, if you're not linking it, or you don't want to link it, or you can't link it for some strange credit card company that you can't do it, then you can manually input that. A loan Also something that would typically go through a financial institution and could probably be pulled in through some kind of link for that. But if you don't want to link to that financial institution or something like that, or it's another type of loan, possibly a loan from places that aren't quite as legitimate or something. I don't know. If you got some other loan, you own John money or something, then you can put the loan in here, and then a manual mortgage. So the mortgage will probably be through some financial institution as well. But if you're not linked to that for whatever reason, or you want to manually put that in, and then random other assets here and random other liabilities. So like I say, most of the liabilities would probably be linked because they're probably going to be some kind of actual physical payments that you need to be making to an institution, unless they're to a personal individual, like you loaned a friend money or something like that, that you would be adding. And then the assets, you have a lot of different types of assets, the common ones up top, and you have the same problems with all the assets when you put them on the books. If they're not financial assets, then you got to say, do I want to put them on the books at cost, how much I paid for them, or do I want to put them on the books at what I believe the appraisal value is, even though I have no idea really what the appraisal value is, because all these things are unique in nature. There's no two cars that are exactly the same, no two homes that are exactly the same, so everything is just a guess. And of course, the market can fluctuate going up and down with it. So you don't want to get too aggressive with it. Kind of depends what you want to do with this balance sheet. Are you using it to try to get a loan or something like that? Or are you trying to, what are you trying to do with it? So let's go ahead and try to add a car here, just for the fun of it. So let's make a car. So I'm just going to make up the data. I'm going to say it's a 2020. It's going to be a Honda model. We're going to say this is a Honda model of, let's say, a Honda Civic. And then we're going to say the current value, and this is, of course, what you'd have to look up and get some kind of value from it, possibly from your insurance company or Kelley Blue Book or something like that. And so they're saying, like, I don't know, 12,000 to 38 here. And, I'm going to say the Honda's pretty nice. It's got some nice stuff on it for a Honda. So I'll say it's 15,000. 15,000, we're going to say, and then done. And it's basically as easy as that to just simply add or tack that on, but you're not going to have any automation for it, really. So I'm just going to say done, and there we have it. So now we've basically tacked on the car down here. They put it into the other area down below, and it's just going to be on there for whatever we put it on there. It's not going to change or anything based on any kind of appraisal. We're going to have to manually edit it if we want to edit it, which we can do so by going down here and simply hitting the little icon and editing it. Let's add another one. Let's add like a liability for the fun of it, because that'll be fun, won't it? That'll be fun. So let's hit a plus button, and then I'm going to say the more on the right hand side again, and this time we're going to do like a liability type of thing, which less likely that you're going to have like liabilities that you'd be including unless they're, like loans to a friend or something like that. So I'm going to say manual loan, description, friend loan, and then account number. I'm going to say the current balance. We loaned the friend $20,000, $20,000 to the friend, and we're going to say done, and then we'll say done on that one. And so once again, it pulls that down here on the loan. So now we got the manual loan. It didn't pull in yet. There it is, 20,000 on the manual loan. That having an impact on the grand total as well. Manual loan not being something that's going to change with anything until you go in there and actually change it. So if you get paid back by the loan, or they give you something on the loan or something like that, then you could take it. You have to go in there and take it down manually. But it does have an impact on the grand total, of course, on the net worth as you put that information into the system. Obviously, once again, this is just made up data at this point in time.